Hello and welcome to UZREPORT News. I'm Barno Nazarzoda. C5-1+ meeting concluded in Tashkent. What is the outcome? Take a look at Uzbek prison through the lens of UZREPORT Cam. Consulate General of Uzbekistan in Frankfurt organized Uzbek language and culture courses. The long-awaited ministerial meeting in the C5+1 format ended its work in Tashkent on Monday. The Tashkent meeting saw foreign ministers of the Republic of Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyz Republic, the Republic of Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and the U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo. Heads of delegations in their speeches said that the format of ministerial meetings launched in 2015 in Samarkand has proved to be a popular and effective mechanism for maintaining and expanding mutually beneficial cooperation. More on the meeting in our next report.
The Secretary of State of the United States of America and the foreign ministers of Central Asian countries adopted joint statement following the C5+1 ministerial meeting held in Tashkent on 3rd February. The current development of regional processes confirms the importance and relevance of the above format, which contributes to maintaining a trusting dialogue and interaction between its participants in ensuring sustainable peace, stability and prosperity in Central Asia. The United States has reaffirmed its unwavering support for the sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity of the countries of the region, as well as its firm commitment to expanding multifaceted regional cooperation in all areas of mutual interest. In order to effectively use the potential of the Central Asian region, participants intend to make efforts to develop partnerships in the following priority areas. First, strengthening mutual trust, interaction and constructive cooperation in the further development of Central Asia as a strong, independent and prosperous region. Second, promotion of coordinated regional projects aimed at promoting trade, transport, logistics and infrastructure links, expanding business and investment contacts between the business circles of the region states and the United States of America, including within the framework of the Trade and Investment Framework Agreement. Third, development and activation of interaction between the countries of the region in the energy field, including renewable energy sources. Fourth, preparation of proposals and initiatives aimed at improving the scientific, technological, social and innovative development of the region. Fifth, expansion of cultural, humanitarian and educational ties. Sixth, development of cooperation in border security, activation of joint efforts of border services in the region to combat cross-border threats such as terrorism, illegal migration, human and drug trafficking. Seventh, expanding the dialogue on threats posed by foreign terrorists, sharing best practices on countering terrorism and violent extremism. Eighth, support for mutually beneficial cooperation in promoting the peace process and political settlement of situation in Afghanistan. Ninth, strengthening civil society, including through the protection of human rights and compliance with international law. The Secretary of State and the ministers expressed their gratitude to the Republic of Uzbekistan for holding the regular meeting of foreign ministers. Once the ministerial meeting was completed, the U.S. Secretary of State was received by President Shavkat Mirziyoyev. Pompeo congratulated on the successful organization and holding of the C5+1 meeting. He emphasized Uzbekistan's progress in creating an atmosphere of trust, partnership and good neighborliness in the region, which is mainly due to the policy of the leader of the new Uzbekistan. The U.S. guest underlined ample opportunities for business initiatives in the Republic, which would allow to raise the scale of trade and economic cooperation tenfold. He stressed that the American side will provide full assistance in accelerating the process of our country's accession to the World Trade Organization. The parties discussed further development of constructive cooperation in supporting civil society, ensuring basic human rights and freedoms, and implementing social programs. Another important item of the agenda was the situation in Afghanistan, including the involvement of this country in regional cooperation in Central Asia. Michael Pompeo supported Uzbekistan's active efforts to achieve peace and stability and promote specific infrastructure projects for the socio-economic reconstruction of Afghanistan. In conclusion, the sides confirmed their mutual commitment to strengthening the relations of strategic partnership and cooperation between the Republic of Uzbekistan and the United States of America.
Uzbekistan Airways has organized charter flights to Beijing and Wuhan to bring Uzbek citizens back to Uzbekistan as coronavirus epidemic gains momentum. Our source in China reported on the situation at the Beijing airport. Most of the students had to spend their night at the airport as they had no idea where the flight is going to be carried out. They bought air tickets for $357. The travel from Wuhan, which is hotbed of the epidemic, is carried out free of charge. And finally, the plane with 250 people on board landed in Tashkent at 5 p.m. local time. The District Department of the Prosecutor General's office detained an Uzbek citizen who tried to sell a $1 million bill to another citizen for $10,000. According to the Department of Combating Economic Crimes under the Prosecutor General's office, the citizen, having entered the trust of another person, promised to help him with obtaining a loan from foreign banks. Representatives of the bank said that $1 million worth banknote is a souvenir and has no value. A criminal case was launched against the fraudster. The Chinese Xinjiang Hualing Industry and Trade Company is interested in implementing a major logistics project and building a shopping complex and hotel. The head of the company held talks with the mayor of Tashkent. The attention of the company's management was drawn to the Chorsu Hotel, which has been idle for many years. The Chinese guest said he would provide conclusions on proposals after their comprehensive study. Uzbekistan is a country of rich traditions, including its cuisine. A chai-hana on weekends, meeting of guests or women gatherings, all accompanied by a festive late table. However, more and more people in the country are suffering from the obesity and cholesterol, thereby reducing the average life expectancy. Why do our residents like to eat delicious food and rarely go for sports? And what do experts think about this? Details in our next report. The aromas of freshly baked samsa with meat or herbs, the smell of golden rice being cooked in cauldron for pilaf instantly remind you of Uzbekistan. Traditional cuisine involves frying vegetables and meat in fat or vegetable oil. Steaming and baking dishes in tandoor is also a common thing. The dishes are very high in calories. Uzbek cuisine was formed over the centuries, originating from the Persian, Arab and Mongolian conquerors. Habit is one of the reasons why people love traditional food. Second, a lot of spices added to the dishes. For example, zira, salt and pepper are used for cooking pilaf, both ground and whole. Despite the great love of fatty foods, not many residents visit gyms that lead to different diseases. The most famous ones are dyspepsia, flatulence, cholesterol and high blood sugar. In an advanced stages, it can also lead to a failure of the musculoskeletal system. There can be many reasons for giving up sports, but the most common one is laziness. We decided to get the coach opinion on this. In fact, people want to eat and study. This is our mentality. This is our tradition. In addition, we have very tasty food. It is difficult to refuse it, and we have been taught to eat since childhood. Unfortunately, we don't have anything that instills a culture of nutrition. Children are taught to read, write, and sing, but they are not taught to how to combine foods that can be harmful and that can be rarely consumed. Advertising plays an important role. I think that if there is no opportunity to go to a gym, then you should at least adjust the food. A single portion of narin contains about 500 kilocalories or more, which is 5 apples, although the second contains less fat and more vitamins. Can we replace some of the ingredients in our dishes? Everything can be always replaced. Instead of lamb, add the breast. Instead of mayonnaise, use suzma or katik. Yes, at first it is unusual and strange, but then the person gets used to it and everything seems okay. Do the food preferences of people who engage in sports differ from those who do not engage? We decided to conduct a small blitz survey among the population. I love our cuisine very much. I'm ready to eat pilaf at least every day. I love it so much. My diet has changed a lot since I started exercising. The thing is that I see the results and I don't want to be subjected to temptation. I feel healthy. I love our cuisine. I probably eat 3 samsas per week. I think this is not too fat and high-calorie food. I've always tried to eat less fatty foods, but when I started training, I began to monitor my diet even more carefully. There are times when I indulge myself, but to the best of my ability. As you can see, views on food are radically different. When engaging in sports, people see the results and admire themselves. This gives additional motivation to continue working. Last week, Director of the Agency for Information and Mass Communications under the Presidential Administration and his deputy informed about their resignation. On Sunday, Komil Allamjonov and Saida Mirziyoyeva inaugurated the new fund that is set to continue the support for free mass media.
Chairperson of the Board of Trustees of new integrated public fund for the support and development of national mass media, Komil Allamjonov, his deputy Saida Mirziyoyeva, and the director of fund, Khushnudbek Khudaybekov, spoke about the objectives of the new institution as well as projects set to be implemented. The fund carries out in the activity at the expense of resources of mecenans, local grants and foreign donors, strengthening the financial and technical base of media, supporting the activities of journalists and bloggers, providing them with such assistance as legal, organizational, technical are among functions of the public fund. At the same time, the public fund contributes to the development of self-governing bodies of the national mass media community. Well, we have announced our plans, but still we don't know how long it will take to implement these plans. But we will do our best to implement them as soon as possible. In addition, the fund will also focus on development of printed media. It's important to create a legal basis for the freedom of speech. Our primary task is to know and protect our rights. In the meantime, such organizations as NGO can definitely help us in protecting our rights. There are many people willing to become blogger or even to create their own media resource, but they don't know how to organize all these. In my opinion, this NGO could serve as a platform to educate these people. The role of such funds in the society is huge. First of all, they serve as a bridge for opinions regardless of their age or religion. Secondly, such funds provide the redistribution of funds. Today we have heard about the mission to create quality journalism. There is so much to do in this direction. The rector of the University of Journalism and Mass Communications, which supplies journalists to the national media sphere of Uzbekistan, also shared his thoughts. This fund can serve as a platform for creation of new creative projects. I wish this fund would not only support journalists locally, but would do this internationally. For example, by sending journalists abroad to study international experience. Since Uzbekistan is undergoing renewal process, there are enough themes to cover. The event also saw representatives of foreign embassies in Uzbekistan.
UZREPORT crew has filmed the videos of a place where no one would like to go. With the assistance of the Interior Ministry of the Republic of Uzbekistan, creative team has prepared a special report on the places of detention of citizens who, for one reason or another, stumbled in life. Our next story raises questions about their life and conditions of detention.
The normal childhood of a child is learning from its mistakes. But here are those who have crossed the boundaries of the law. Many of them are of school age, which is why teachers used to come here to conduct lessons. After serving their sentence, the children pass the classes that they managed to skip.
2019-2020 o'quv yilidan boshlab Zangiota tumani.
Now we have 7 classes organized here, starting from 5th to 11th. The number of students is about 70. Teachers who conduct lessons here are not ordinary teachers, but professionals in their fields. We have signed an agreement with 2 universities in the country that provide us with teachers. In addition, there is an open day, when seminars are held under the guidance of professors. Not so long ago, this institution signed an agreement with a driving school, so that those who are serving their sentences here lose time for good reason and have at least some skills after release. Law enforcement officers monitor the order. A leader is chosen from among the children who help them in this mission. And here is the next place, the only female colony in Uzbekistan. The number of prisoners cannot be disclosed according to the rules. The day here passes on a certain schedule. Those who didn't study at school undergo education here, and the rest who for health reasons can work are in a textile factory. Paid work. I have been here for just under 3 years. Here we learned the value of freedom. The times when I freely walked the streets, visited my relatives. Before I came here, I worked as a teacher in Kashkadarya. I had 42 students. Previously, in my understanding, prison was a kind of a dark place. But when I came here, I thought that there is a lot to learn, and the knowledge that I received in freedom is not enough. I committed the crime because of my family circumstances. Of course, I repent and regret for what I did. Due to the fact that I have a higher education as a teacher, I constantly organize artistic performances here. We often hold cultural evenings in honor of holidays and just significant days. No matter how many conditions are created here, they will not replace my family, who are now on the other side of the grid. I miss them so much. And the last place we visited was a men's colony. Proper hairstyle for soldiers, but they don't serve here, they serve their sentences. In conclusion, we would like to recall Mahatma Gandhi's quote: "Man becomes not the lord and master of all creation, but he is its servant."
The Consulate General of Uzbekistan in Frankfurt and the German Uzbek Cultural Society HUMO have recently launched Uzbek language and culture courses. On February the 2nd, training courses were held dedicated to the 579th anniversary of the birth of the writer, statesman and one of the great representatives of the world of literature and spirituality, Alisher Navoiy. The courses were organized in cooperation with the World Youth Association of Uzbekistan.
The courses were attended by about 80 of our compatriots living in Germany, more than 30 children, representatives of German culture and the public. Participants studying the Uzbek language read excerpts from the literary heritage of our great ancestor, as well as learned about his life and works created by him. At the end of the event, a competition for the best reading of ghazals from the works of the great thinker was held. The celebration also saw the singer of the arabesque group, whose father was an Uzbek. She also received her first lessons in Uzbek.
The Uzbek blood that flows in my veins connects me to Uzbekistan, its culture, traditions and customs. When I found out a few years ago that my father was from Uzbekistan, I wanted to go to this country, see my relatives and maintain relations with them. For me, the most important thing right now is learning my native language. My dream is to go to Uzbekistan in the nearest future, implement various projects in the form of concerts to represent Uzbekistan not only in Germany, but also around the world. And this was our last report for today. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.